Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Mount Carmel area high school football. Tonight, from the friendly confines of the Silver Bowl, we will give you the Red Tornadoes as they renew a long history, a long historic rivalry with the Crimson Tide of Pottsville. Last played this series in 1993. It began, Wayne, in 1908, as far back as then we played them. One thing to remember, and this is a real oddity, aside from the other oddity tonight, this is a Saturday night home football game, and you can count them on one hand in our history.
Oh, definitely.
It doesn't happen very often. So tonight, because of the torrential rains of last night, we play on a Saturday night. But one of the other things to look at, this is one of the few, and I mean the few, rivalries and series where the other team actually leads in victories.
Yeah,
the Tide leads us.
I'll tell you what, this is a series that it is tooth and fang. I'll tell you what, there were some great games I can remember coming up through the 60s and the 70s that these two teams played in the middle of that field down here at the Silver Bowl, and that's where it stayed until somebody scored one touchdown here, one touchdown there, and there was only a point or maybe a touchdown and you lost this game. This is one of the best series in this history.
Now, one of the things we look at, of course, in this series is back when we stopped playing them, it was right as the state playoffs came into being. It was a couple of years only, and teams were trying to adjust schedules. This is a real oddity in another way, in that you will very seldom see a quad A school and a double A school play during the regular season. It just doesn't happen very often. It's a gamble on both sides of the ball. The Red Tornadoes playing a much bigger school means more kids, more talent. Yeah. That's always a tough thing to do. And for the Crimson Tide, also a very big gamble. Losing to a double-A team, if that would happen, would be a real shock into the season and would put them in a precarious position for their playoff scene. So a lot at stake tonight. The other thing we want to bring your attention, you're going to see the team's captains are walking the midfield. Tonight we have a very special coin toss.
And this is real special.
For Mount Carmel area, Glenn Bonesy Adams, and those of you who are football fans, I need not say any more about him. He is out to represent the Red Tornadoes, and of course a very familiar face and one that really ties this rivalry together. We have on the other side, the Pottsville side, Coach Bill Flynn representing Pottsville. And what some great memories of Coach Bill Flynn in the years that this rivalry was really a heated one.
On and off the field. You have to know this gentleman, and I know him in a number of ways. One through football here, played against him back in the late 60s and so on. But later got to know him coaching track. For one of the area teams, and he was coaching track for Pottsville at the time, and, got to know him very, very well at different coaches' meetings and everything else. Invited Coach Sam Chicatano at that time over to his house. Come on over, I'll talk to you. Maybe explain some things to you, maybe what some just nuances of the game that I can show you. Gave him some books. And I heard that, through the years, even up until just recently, he does that with everybody.
Right. I mean, he's had a very good relationship with Coach Brennan.
Yes.
He does not live that far away, and has actually talked to him in the last couple of seasons on and off about some things. Coach Bill Flynn is one of the one of the class acts of coaching.
Take a look out there in the middle of the field right now. Coach Flynn and Bonesy Adams just chatting away, and
right.
You'd love to be there right in the middle to listen to what they're talking about.
All right, we're going to get ready to tee this thing up now. We look at the Red Tornadoes, of course. Excuse me, my throat. They come in 4-0. And this is the final game of what's considered the Big Three stretch for them, where they took on Southern, Shamokin, and now the Crimson Tide. I mean, the rest of the season isn't a whole lot better, but it's a little bit of a breather after this for a little bit. The Crimson Tide come in 2-2. Two tough losses. One just last week to a very powerful Hazelton football team. So they're looking to get back on the right track here. So they're going to be a little bit extra hungry, I think, as they come into this football game. So there's a lot of things to look at tonight, a lot of people to watch. One of the guys you want to look at is number 12 from the Tide, and that's Alex Miranda. He's a guy that's going to line up in a bunch of different places, and he is the true athlete of this whole group. They have many good ones, but he's the real athlete. He's the guy you want to keep your eye on. for the entire game. They'll put him in a lot of different spots, try to isolate him in a lot of different places, and he can burn us from anywhere in the field. He may be the fastest guy in the field, and that's unusual because normally I couldn't say that about an opposing team, but he may be the fastest guy on the football field tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, you take a look here at the Pottsville team. Number one, the number of kids that are over there suited, and number two, the size of this team. This is a quad A team, and what you're going to notice with the quad A team is that you're going to come in with some size. This team here matches up very, very well with the Tornadoes. This is the first team that's going to do this year. And again, this is going to be the big test to see, if the Tornadoes are everything they said they are.
This is also the biggest team we're going to see size-wise.
Yeah, size-wise. This is, and you're right, this is. And we talk about Selinsgrove coming up and so on, but I cannot see Selinsgrove putting a team on the field that is big as the team that I'm looking at here.
All right, the Tide's going to start this game by kicking off, and I believe it's number 38 down there. Brad Wozniacki is the kicker. And he'll get this game underway, and it is. He kicks it down to Wargo, number 27, as he picks and chooses his way up the field and finds a little bit of a gap. It actually turns it into a nice return all the way up to the Red Tornado 40-yard line, where the Tornadoes will take it 1st and 10.
Now, defensively, the Tide's coming in with a very strong defensive line, just like the Tornadoes. Not as strong as usual. They usually put a strong defensive team on the field. They are a little weak in the defensive back area, as we were told.
Shinsky brings him up. He hands it off to Kovaleski, tries the line. He's going to pick up maybe a yard on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 9 for the Tornadoes. Yeah, it's a good point, Wayne. One of the, and it's hard to say this against really good teams.
Right.
Because they lost by 1 point to Blue Mountain, and really it was a mistake at the very end, which did not reflect the game. They actually controlled the game and lost by 1 point in the final seconds. But teams have scored a lot of points on them, and that's the one thing you want to look at with Pottsville. They're not probably a real stingy defense. So he put a single back there, and he's going to pitch it to Kovaleski, try to get him outside. He's got a bunch of guys out there with him. He turns the corner and takes it up to about the 46-yard line.
Good run by Kovaleski. Followed his men, got to the outside. That's where he wanted to go. And did turn the corner. He got all the way out. About 3 yards to go. He picked up about 7 that time.
So they'll bring up a 3rd down now. 3rd down and 3 for the Red Tornadoes. Ashinsky trots out. He takes number 28, Morgan, with him. This is a team, of course, Pottsville, you remember, a lot of times in a 4-4 defense. They're playing a 50 defense tonight, and they have done that all year. A little bit of a change for them. This time we pitch it the other way to Kovaleski, and he's in trouble right away, and that's a great play down there by number 31, John Monk Williams for the Tide.
Monk came up from the corner. He just blitzed. He saw that it was a quick pitch. And actually, to tell you the truth, they were switching defensive ends. If you watch, apparently they think one end might be a little bit better than the other, and they were switching to the power. And we caught them in the middle of the switch. But Monk came up and made a great play from his corner position.
Nice kick, a high kick by Shinsky. It's going to hit the ground and be picked up down there by number 12, Miranda. And he's the guy I talked about, and a flag is down. And that's going to go against the Crimson Tide, as it's going to be a block in the back. Right where it was thrown, I can see what happened there. But Miranda, number 12, is the guy you want to watch. He's the speed demon of this group.
Number 66, Jonathan Novak on the tackle. A block in the back against the Crimson
Novak
Tide.
making the stop for the Red Tornadoes, and they'll march this ball back. So the ball's going to be set down at the 13-yard line of the Crimson Tide, where they'll start their first offensive series here. McFarland, the quarterback, number 11, and he's going to start off in a shotgun. They will play a lot of shotgun formation tonight. He hands it off in the middle down there to the only back in there. That's number 36, Lukash.
36 on the carry, Joe Lukash.
You'll see a lot of that, a lot of split backfields. And, of course, everybody has nightmares of Pottsville, the veer, the power of veer. That is not something they do much anymore. They're more in a pro set and a pro offense. Again, McFarland will set up in that shotgun. And, again, the same play to Lukacs as he tries to get outside. And this time he does not. He stopped right at the 25-yard line. Number 4 for the Red Tornadoes down there was Kufta. And actually, number 29, Buggy, was the guy that turned the play in as Lukacs was trying to get outside but couldn't.
Yeah, he's got to do that. Number 95, Mike Pillow, he must be playing the defensive end position. He's trying to kick Wargo to the outside.
3rd and 2 now for the Tide as McFarland gets his guys straightened out there. He puts Cipollini out. He fakes it. He's looking to move, and there's a flag down, and he's brought down in there by number 41, Leonovich, defensive end. And there's also going to be a penalty against the Tide. Now, we may decline that penalty and force the 4th down. That's what I would do anyway. Let them kick. It's a motion penalty.
Now, again, you see, setting up. You see out here, back in the shotgun, handoff. Now, this time, fake handoff. And he was rolling out looking for the pass that time.
All right, so we'll force a kick by the Tide as they line up there, and their kicker's kind of late getting out there. And that's 95, Pilo. He's one of those big kickers. He gets it off the side of his foot, unfortunately. We got to be careful where it lands. It's going to stop in Tide territory at the Tide 39. Great field position for the Red Tornadoes on the tough kick by Pilo.
Yeah, Pilo had plenty of time. No rush there at all. Took his time, and sometimes when you do that, you get complacent. You take too much time. You get laxical, and you're not watching the ball as you drop it. That time it went off the side of his foot.
All right, the Red Tornadoes get set up 1st and 10 from the Tide 39 here. Straight I formation as Shinsky's looking around. He's going to bring Matsura in motion, and he's going to fake it, and he's going to pass. He's got plenty of time, and he's got Matsura. And it's a big gain inside the 20 down to the 19, 1st and 10. And if you notice, Shinsky and Matsura were looking at each other and nodding to each other. They were watching what the defense was doing, and they picked it up in a big gain.
Stevie, at that point, had picked the slot. He found the position. He found the hole in the defense. And as he was standing there, and he went directly to it, Dave looked very well, rolling out to his right and passing a lot of time.
This time it's Letkavich. He's still on his feet, and he's going to be brought down in there by number 7, Jake Wartella from the Tide. A nice tackle by Wartella, as we know that the big guy, number 2, is difficult to bring down. Letkavich having a fabulous football game last week against the Indians.
Tried to shift his feet there a little bit and did slip. He was a little bit further downfield. When he got up, he was losing his balance a little bit and came back towards the original line.
Be no gain on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10 for the Tornadoes. He's looking down at Dara, and he's got them. Dara makes a nice spin move, and he's going to take it down to about the 9-yard line, very close to the 1st down. We'll see. Now they're going to spot it back at the 10 now.
Yeah, it's on the 10. He's going to be 1 yard short. Great play by Dara. All he did was had the defensive man. He charged the defensive man for about 3 steps, 3 yards, had the defensive man pedal back, and as soon as he had that defensive man backwards, he turned around and hooked, and Dave hit him.
All right, it's 3rd down and a long one for the Red Tornadoes. We quickly go to Kovaleski, and he's going to pick up the 1st down, I believe.
Yes.
He's down to about the 8-yard line. That should be plenty for the 1st down. It should bring up a 1st and goal for the Red Tornadoes as Dara comes into the lineup.
They moved that back a little bit.
Yeah, they have an interesting way of playing. It was up to me to call the placement all the time. We'd be in serious trouble because it always looks different from where I'm seeing it. Now, I thought for sure he had landed on the 8-yard line. But I'll tell you what, they didn't place it where he landed. But it is still a 1st down. I do like that call. From all the way up here, I call it by a split inch. Am I good or what? was one of the best guesses I've ever had. All right, 1st and goal from the 8 for the Tornadoes now, as they are threatening early in this football game. 6 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play here at the Silver Bowl. That's in motion, but we're going to go to the big guy, Brown, and Brown powers his way down inside the 5, down to the 3-yard line. 2nd and goal from the 3, and that's just smash mouth pounding football down there.
Great play on the left-hand side. Scott Novak, 77, Rich Greco, 56, and Swank opening up a hole there. The defense sort of was leaning to the left there a little bit. Thought we were going with the pitch because it was a misdirection play. They were showing pitch to Kovaleski, moving to the right, and the defense went that way.
This time we split Dara far to the right, but we go right up the middle, and that's Brown. And that's a touchdown, ladies and gentlemen. Touchdown, Mount Carmel area at the 5:38 mark of the first quarter. The Red Tornadoes draw first blood on the good field position from the punt. And that, again, Brown just looks plain unstoppable. He just looks unstoppable for 3 or 4 yards. It's simply the way to put it.
Well, you give Brown the ball. First of all, you give him the ball, and you give him a hole, which the line is doing at this very point.
Kick is up and good by Kufta. And the score now, Mount Carmel area Red Tornadoes 7, the Tide 0, and the Red Tornado faithful are on their feet in front of us. A nice series of downs for the Red Tornadoes, Wayne.
Good play calling down there. I'll tell you. You take a look at that pass play to Matsura, and that was a big one. And I'll tell you what, that sort of sets the tone for your passing a little bit when you can pick up the first down and pick up about 20 yards on that pass alone. You come back again, then you hit Dara on the left-hand side for another 4 yards, and that sort of opens up now, and it gives you a little bit of leadway where you can get those misdirection plays. You give it to Brown and let him pound it over from the 6-yard line.
All right, we'll get ready to kick this thing off. Down deep down there is 20 for the Tide, Jeff Gordon. What I don't see, number 5 is also down there, Chiplonia. And looks like 30, is that 38, Wayne, to the middle? He's not turning my way there. I'm surprised that 12 isn't down there.
Looks like 30.
30, if it's 30, that would be Pat Cortese. All right, it is 30. I'm surprised that Miranda wouldn't be down there. Nice kickoff. Goes down to about the 15-yard line. And Chiplonia is going to bring it back, and he's heading for the Mount Carmel sideline, and he's knocked out of bounds at about the 27-yard line.
Dave is on that, number 27.
Wargo, you mean?
Wargo.
Yeah, Wargo.
And Quintero.
My main man, Quintero, numero uno.
That's a good number for you.
It's the only number I know in Spanish, too. So. If he was wearing number 8, I'd be in trouble. All right, the Tide brings him up there. McFarland again in the shotgun where he has played the entire game so far. It's a keeper, and he's got some room this time, and he's going to take it out over the 35-yard line to about the 36-yard line. Nice gain on the play for McFarland as it's a keeper just over the tackle. Not a real fancy offense so far.
No, everything is either straight dive or, pitch. In that case there, not only do you have your line opening up the hole, but you also have your halfback leading your quarterback through as another blocker.
An 8-yard gain on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and 2 for the Tide. This time he has his back to the opposite side of him. And again, a keeper, and he fumbles it. The ball is loose. And I'm going to see, I think the Tide are going to come up with it. I think number 95, Pilo, fell on it at the 45-yard line. So the Tide not only retains possession, but also gains a first down on the fumble. And that time, it didn't really get hit. He just kind of let it get away from him a little bit.
And then he kicked it.
Yeah, and he kicked it even further away from him. So he gets lucky on the play. But this is a tough Tide offense. They are big and fast, and they'll come at you. McFarland's now going to go back to pass. He's got number 12 down there, Miranda, and Miranda was open a little bit, but couldn't get to him, and also a flag on the play.
Yeah, some good coverage down there. Johnny Dara and number 2, Drew Litkavich, all over. And, you know, it was quite noticeable at that point that it was going to be overthrown.
Now, there's also an illegal procedure penalty, so the Tide will back up 5 yards. But that also illustrates to you, folks, just how fast Miranda is.
Yeah.
He is going to be the fastest guy at this secondary. And I'm also probably thinking about Chickatano last week. And Stumhofer. But I think this kid is just plain pure speed here. It's a 1st and 15 now for McFarland, and he's going to pitch it this time. And nice run by number 30, Cortese. We had him actually behind the line and missed him. He made a nifty move behind the line of scrimmage.
I don't know if that was Brown back there.
No, I think that was number 41, Leonovich.
Leonovich in the backfield.
The end. So the ball's out at the 45-yard line of the Tide now. We're at 2nd and 10 on the 5-yard gain. This time we're going to go right up the middle, and Cortese has some room again, and he'll go over midfield into Mount Carmel area territory, then at the Mount Carmel area 48-yard line. And the Tide are running well right now on this Big Red defense.
Yeah, if you take a look at the line there, it's not that they're moving anybody. They're getting some good shield blocks. This halfback here is not a very large halfback that we're used to seeing. But I'll tell you what, he's very shifty as he goes through the line. He has great vision of what's going on out in the field.
Now this time we put Miranda in the backfield next to him, and Miranda will step off in motion a little bit there as they try to isolate him, and he's looking right at him. And he's a little bit of trouble, and he escapes it. And he manages to get very close to the first down. Number 45 on the stop, Lashinsky, but McFarland showing you just how shifty he is. It'll bring up 4th and 2.
I'll tell you what, Brown had him in the backfield. Looks...
There you see it there in the replay, just how shifty he was, where it looked like he was going down.
Yeah.
Now, the Tide are going to go for it. It's 4th down, and the scoreboard says 1 yard, but believe me, it's very much closer to 2 yards than it is to 1. Just inside Red Tornado territory at the 47-yard line, and this time McFarland goes under center for the first time in the game. Now this time I think, although we jumped around, we never crossed the plane. I think the Tide went offside, and that'll make them kick. They won't be able to do it if they have a 5-yard penalty, and they don't.
Yeah.
So they'll go into a punting situation. And I'm not sure if that was going to be a play or they were just trying to draw us offside and then take the penalty anyway.
I don't know, but we have. If you take a look at the way the boys are very aggressive on defense, and they do make that little juke to the inside, like they're coming, like they're going to blitz, they're going to do this. And then that's what they did that time. Didn't cross over that plane.
We have a different punter in the game now for them. Actually, we do. It's number 18 during the punting chores. We're going to let the ball just hit down and stay there at the Mount Carmel 29-yard line. But in the kick was Bobby Tavares, number 18. And that's different from the first kicker we saw. That was Pilo. So they changed kickers here, which is somewhat unusual in high school to have a different punter in there, but they did. And he gets off a pretty good kick this time and puts it inside the Tornado 25-yard line, right about the 24, where they'll take over 1st and 10. There's 2:05 remaining here in the first quarter of play at the Silver Bowl. Back to pass goes Shinsky. Plenty of protection, plenty of time. Everybody's covered, and now a flag goes down. He finds Matsura out at the 35, but this one's going to come back. Boy, I'll tell you what, with that kind of time.
What protection. I'll tell you what. They had 5 men coming right off the line, the 2 ends, the nose guard, and the 2 tackles. And our offensive line just completely collapsed it down into the center. Gave Dave as much time as possible.
Now the flag didn't come until the very end. If we would have got rid of the ball quicker, we probably wouldn't have even suffered the flag. But that's the way it goes. It was good coverage in the secondary that time. He had a heck of a time, and he finally found Matsura, but it's all for naught. The ball marches back inside the 10-yard line now at the Red Tornado 9, where they're going to take over, and it's going to be 1st and 25.
Ball is set back on the 9-yard line.
Kovaleski alone back in the backfield. Shinsky's back to pass, and he finds Dara. And Dara picks up some nice yardage out to the 15-yard line. Pick up a 6 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and about 19.
Put Johnny Dara back in again. Looks like number 30 is out.
Kovaleski, Lashinsky's taking.
Lashinsky's going in.
He's taking the play into to Dave. And we'll see what they have there as Dave will go in with shotgun. Lashinsky will be standing right next to him. This is the exact formation that the Tide uses so far this game. As he finds 21, Matsura wide open. And Matsura all the way up to the 30-yard line. He was driven down out of bounds by John Monk Williams, but not before a big gain. And it's going to bring up 3rd down on a much more manageable 3rd down and about 5. So a big pickup on the play from Matsura.
Dave, I'll tell you what, Dave is keeping his cool back there. He gets a little bit of pressure. The line is doing an excellent job in blocking, but it's given Dave enough time that he can look over all his receivers, whether he's going to Dara or Matsura.
All right, Dara brought the play in, and Dara will come split wide to his left. He's got Wargo inside as we
look at Wargo.
And we look down, we got Dara wide open down there and just couldn't hold on to right at the 40-yard line. So the Red Tornadoes will be forced to punt on 4th down and 6.
I'll tell you what, we caught them shifting in the defense. Wargo was wide open down the center of the field. Nobody was even near him. Johnny Dara was open over here on the flat.
Right, yeah, they were definitely confused by the lineup. Dara just not been able to hold on to it, so Shinsky will back to kick, and now Miranda is back there for the punt return, one of them anyway, and the other guy is Cortese. Nice punt. It's going to hit the ground in front of Cortese, and he fumbled it. He picks it up, and he's trying to get outside, and he does. He's got a lot of room now, and finally be brought down over on the sideline there. And who is that by? Kufta, number 4, brings him down. And there, there's a case where he bobbled the ball a little bit, and we all converged on him. He managed to get outside a little bit. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Crimson Tide as the first quarter of play here in Mount Carmel area comes to a close with the Red Tornadoes leading 7-0. A well-played first quarter. One thing I want to comment as we go further, of course, the field game canceled last night because of just extreme weather.
Torrential.
We took 2.5 inches of rain here, and I need to tell you, both of us walked out onto the field, and you cannot tell it rained.
No.
There's nothing wet. The ground is totally solid. It's just absolutely amazing. And whatever money they spent for this was well spent.
Worth it. It's great drainage. They did when they cut it off. They laid a bed of sand down, which would give you great drainage. Years ago when we used to walk out in the field, your feet would be wet.
Yeah.
Now tonight it was completely and I'll tell you what, everybody, it's like a carpet out there, and it's great for these kids to be playing on a field like this.
Yeah, I'm just really, really shocked at how well this field responded to the 2.5 inches of rain. All right, the Tide will get set up here, 1st and 10. They're at their 41-yard line, and McFarland in that shotgun formation again. And he's going to pitch it to Miranda, and Miranda's got some room. He's drugged down in there by Matsura, and Matsura may have saved the touchdown. That was a pretty play, and they sealed us off completely that time.
Yeah, it was a trap play in the middle of the line. They had the pulling guard kicking out. They had motion going to the right. It wasn't misdirection play. Miranda comes back from the right to the left and picks up like a front pitch. We used to run that every so often.
Yeah. 1st and 10 in Red Tornado territory at the Red Tornado 39-yard line. We'll see that again, I'm sure. As McFarland now takes it himself. He's going to try to pitch it out, and he does. And Kufta completely blows it up along with Matsura, but Kufta wrecked that play. Cortese goes down for a loss on the play. Back to the Red Tornado 49-yard line.
Yeah, Buggy, I'll tell you what, Buggy did the job that time. he saw that it was supposed to be an option play, and he went directly at the quarterback. He forced the quarterback to pitch it early, and that gave Kufta enough time to come up and make a great hit.
Brings up a 2nd and 14 on the loss for the Tide. As McFarland looks around. And it's a straight keeper by McFarland this time, as he's going to take it down to about the Red Tornado 44-yard line. Almost back to the original line of scrimmage, Wayne.
Back to the original line. I'll tell you what, the Tide having some great line surge. They're putting shoulder pad to shoulder pad when they're driving up through the center of that field. And I'll tell you what, they're just coming off the ball very hard.
Well, that was their strong point, their offensive line. We knew that coming in. If you're looking for strong points, it's there, and it's their linebacking core was also pretty strong. So that they're exercising their strength right now. McFarland back to pass now. He has some time as he rolls. He's in trouble now, and Brown. Oh, he tried to get the Pilo. Brown almost had him down, and then he tried to toss it over, but he tossed it over Pilo's head, the tight end. It'll bring up 4th and 10 for the Tide, and they'll now have to punt the ball away. That almost was a dangerous play, and that Pilo got loose after after the quarterback looked like he was going down, and he had some room to run when he got it.
This quarterback is very strong. I'll tell you, there's a couple of times that we've had him wrapped up and ready to tackle him, and he somehow breaks away. Pick up an extra couple of yards if he's running, or just like that, he has enough balance to throw the ball.
All right, Tavares again punting. This is a high punt. It's going in the direction of anybody. Kind of bounced down a little shorter than I thought. So.
Well, it bounced down.
Sorry about that.
It hit the lineman, one of their linemen, right in the leg, and stopped
dead
right there.
So it never got to where I thought it was heading. It's dead on the 20-yard line where it's 1st and 10, Red Tornadoes. 10:02 remaining here in the second quarter of play. It's absolutely a beautiful football night compared to last night. Temperature down in the low 60s. The wind, which was pretty rough all day, has died down to almost nothing right now.
They said it was supposed to be windy tonight for the game.
But the flag is still right now. Yeah. Nothing's moving on the flagpole.
Fumble.
Just slipped down. I believe Kovaleski. No, that was Letkavich, and he just slipped as he tried to make his cut at the line. A loss on the play. Bring up 2nd and 12 on the 2-yard loss. Brown trots off, and Lashinsky comes on.
Yeah, Brown was leading up through the hole. I was supposed to go off tackle that time.
This is as tough a game as we said it would have been. I mean, there's nothing different that we didn't expect here. They are a good football team. Go back to pass. We got Wargo, and he has Wargo out there, and Wargo's struggling up over the 25-yard line to the 26-yard line, and a nice extra effort after he catches the pass.
That extra effort picked up 3 yards for Timmy. Some nice passing again. Take a look at Dave just sitting back in the pocket, and he has a lot of time to look over the field and see what the defense is doing. And some very nice passes by Dave Shinsky tonight so far.
So it brings up a 3rd and 4 now, as he picked up 8 yards on the completion. Goes back to pass. Still plenty of time. Now he's in trouble. He's going to take off with it. He's going to take it up to about the 27-yard line. Short of the 1st down. It'll bring up 4th down, and the Red Tornadoes will have to punt.
Good defensive play that time by the Tide. Had all the receivers covered. But Dave had a lot of time sitting back in the pocket, even with the 5-man rush that was on him. And he did see the seam. But somebody had seen him taken off and released a little bit sooner than what he expected, made the tackle before he picks up the 1st down.
He lets it rip, and this one he gives a good punt to Cortese, who catches it on the fly, and he'll go down at the 46-yard line down there. Matsura and Kovaleski on the stop of Cortese, where the Tide will take over 1st and 10.
Again, it's getting to be a game of punts and field positions here, back and forth. The Tide ending up with the better field position in this quarter here, basically around their own 40, 45-yard line. They've been taking the ball. The Tornadoes, after the Tide punts, has been trying to get off the 20-yard line.
McFarland back in his customary shotgun spot. He hands it off in there to number 36 this time, Lukash. And Lukash will pick up about 3 yards on a play.
Yeah, Brown is coming in. He got up into that four. We're in a 4-man front. He comes into the defensive end position, and Leonovich drops back into the corner. And he was watching the quarterback because the quarterback is watching exactly what's happening. Should he hand it off to the halfback or keep it? And, of course, after that, then Brown comes over and makes the tackle.
This time we go to Cortese, number 30, and he gains nothing. It'll bring up 3rd down and 7. Now for the Tide, has no gain on the play, and he stopped dead in there as Brown unpiles himself down there. Lashinsky and Matsura all combined to make the stop.
Again,
you see the pile up there, and there was no going there.
We're in that 4-4 defense right here. Now we're back into the 5.
All right, it's 3rd and 7 now, and that's the worst thing could happen to you when that's your mouthpiece laying in the dirt.
Crunchy.
You hate when that happens. So Cortese will get his mouthpiece straightened out because you cannot play without one in high school football.
Here we got Brown at the defensive end position now.
This time we give it to, we don't give it, and there's Swank.
Woo!
And Swank gets a hold of McFarland before he gets to the line of scrimmage, a loss on the play. And once again, the Tide find themselves in a punting situation.
A little bit better this time because they did not pick up the first down. They're not as far down the field as what they had been. Great play by Swank. That time Swank grabbed him and wasn't letting go.
Tavares will punt it for the Tide. Wargo's going to fair catch it, and he does. And this time he fair catches it up at the Red Tornado 29-yard line where it's 1st and 10, Big Red. And you're right, a subtle change in field position, but one that can be important.
Yeah, this is 9. Here's 9 yards now. Now you're starting from the 30-yard line. You pick up a first down here. Now, if you have to punt, now you're punting from maybe the 40, 45-yard line and putting Pottsville back in the hole. So, it's that old, the old kicking, specialty games. And
old possession game.
I'll tell you what, it does make a difference.
Now we're in a split backfield. We keep it as we're going to pass, and we look downfield, and there's Buggy, the tight end. And Buggy will take it up to the Red Tornado 45-yard line. 1st and 10, Red Tornadoes, as we drug the tight end across the middle, and they couldn't cover him.
Yeah, we had Nate Morgan in motion going to the left, so that shifted their defense over a little bit. And Buggy finds that open area, or Wargo finds the open area right in the center as he's coming across.
The Red Tornadoes are showing a bunch of different formations here, and when they go into a different one, the last 2 times they've done that, they've had some big plays as the Tide has not been able to adjust, and there is going to be an illegal participation penalty on the Red Tornadoes. He could not get off the field in time. He broke the huddle, and that's a painful penalty. Back to the 40-yard, just inside the Red Tornado 40-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 15 now. And you hate that penalty only in that it's just so preventable.
Oh, sure. You get that man off. You have to do one of 2 things. Either you get that man out or you stay in your huddle until he's off.
This time we go to Kovaleski. Kovaleski's going to be drugged down as he gets over the 40-yard line to the 41. We can bring up a 2nd down and about 13. About 14.
Okay, we got Wargo coming. Whoa, we have a whole slew of guys. Wargo comes off. John Dara goes in.
And Ledkavich is in the backfield
now. In the backfield as your tailback.
He's behind Lashinsky, the fullback, now in that I formation for the Red Tornadoes. We go back to pass once again. A lot of room as we set the screen up for Ledkavich, and he's got some room.
He's got room.
And Ledkavich is now free, and he's running free. And he's going to be brought down there finally by number 7, Jake Wartella, but not before he takes it down to the tied 14-yard line where it's 1st and 10, Red Tornadoes.
And I'll tell you what really helped that play is Pottsville was blitzing at that time. They sent their middle and their corner up in and on a blitz. They knew it was going to be a pass, and boy, that was set up perfectly. The line did exactly what they had to do, and Dave waited until the very last second to release that ball.
I'm sorry, the ball's at the 16-yard line. 16-yard line where it's 1st and 10, and they are threatening again, are the Red Tornadoes. It's Brown now. And he lumbers down there, and Brown knocks about 12 people over. Yep. He knocks his own people and them over. It doesn't matter.
Just don't get in the way.
It'll bring up a 2nd down now and 8 as he picks up a hard 2 yards. It's a painful 2 yards for everybody else, though, when he does it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
he loves it.
You stopped him for 2 yards, but he inflicted enough pain on everybody. Wargo pops into the lineup with the play for the Red Tornadoes. You got Brown in that backfield now at the fullback spot with Kovaleski, number 30, lined up behind him, and we're going to pass. Again, plenty of time. Wargo, a nice play. Wargo was well covered down there by number 7, Wartella, and just couldn't hold on to the ball near the goal line, but that was a nice pass.
Ooh, great pass. It was right there, and what was nice about it, it was just low enough into the outside. Defender, if he was going to do anything, only get a hand on it.
It's 3rd and 8 now for the Red Tornadoes. One place we are at is we are in field goal range here.
Yes, we are.
We come out with a shotgun formation now. Brown back to help protect. Plenty of time again. He's over the middle down there and just high. He had Wargo down there, and he also had Matsura. Wargo in the back of the end zone, Matsura in the front, and we'll see what the Red Tornadoes elect to do here on 4th down now and 8. And it might be a time to call timeout, but it is not. We are going to attempt the field goal. Number 4 trots on the field, and of course that's Matt Kufta. And Kufta will attempt a field goal, and I'm sure you will tell me how long this field goal will be, right? Since I've looked up those numbers every time I do it.
This will be 30 yards. He's kicking it from the 20-yard line.
So Kufta in to attempt a 30-yard field goal. The hold is down, the kick is up,
and
I believe that he has no good.
Just to the right of the upright.
Just I thought it was in. I really did.
He had the distance on it. Great follow through on that one.
So great defensive stand by the Tide to hold the Tornadoes out, and they'll take over 1st and 10 from the
20-yard line.
From the 20-yard line.
Yeah, the ball was on the
I'm trying to find where the ball was, and the ref had his arm there.
Ball was on the 14, so it automatically comes back to the 20.
3:27 remaining in the 2nd quarter of play as the Tide takes over. McFarland again back in his shotgun formation. And he's looking to pass as he has that little roll, and he does. He's got a screen of his own going over there. And Pilo, the big guy, and oh my goodness, he is flattened in there by Letkavich. Oh my goodness, Letkavich picked Pilo off the ground.
Now what you do now is Coach takes this and uses it as textbook tackle.
Yeah.
You can't get any better downfield tackle than what Drew Letkavich did right there.
Watch this play at the end, folks. You can see Pilo. He's 95. Now watch the hit coming. Boom.
Right there. Look at
Watch him leave his feet and down on his back.
Ooh, my hat off to Drew.
1st and 10 Tide. McFarland. And he's going to keep it now. And as he's done a couple of times, he tries to find that corner. And he's out to the 40-yard line where he's brought down by Kufta and Lashinsky. And he is such a, he looks like he's stopped, and he gets around that corner. He's patient, and he's very shifty.
He's shifty, but he keeps, his big thing is he's quick, and he keeps his feet going at all times.
Here you see it. He just gets inside of Leonovich there. So it's going to bring up a 2nd down and 2 now as an 8-yard gain, and the Tide are moving easily at the moment here. Again, a keeper just to the other side. Same exact play, and he's still free. And now he's running free, and Lashinsky has him, and he's now loose again. He just will not be brought down. Finally coming down on the ground down there is number 56 for the Red Tornadoes, Rich Greco.
Yeah, making a tackle.
And Rick Greco. I remember Rich Greco.
Oh, yeah.
His dad.
I'll tell you, the thing they have to do with this quarterback is they have to wrap their arms. There's too many people hitting him as he's going through the line of scrimmage, and he's getting away.
All right, 1st and 10 now in Red Tornado territory at the 40-yard line as the Tide has mounted a substantial offensive drive here. Miranda this time, as Miranda tries to find the corner, and he does. He picks up a good chunk of yardage there. It'll bring up 2nd down and about 5. Looks like he picked up 5, let's say 4 on the play. 2nd down and 6.
Now the great thing there is that they kept him in bounds. Miranda in bounds, and it made Pottsville burn one of their timeouts here with 1 minute and 59 seconds left in half.
So we got homecoming coming up here at the half, gang. You want to stay tuned for that, baby. That's always an exciting moment as we crown a homecoming queen. All kind of festivities, and we are looking forward to. We truly hope this happens. We are trying to get Bonesy Adams to come up after the game and have a little talk with us here, bring back some memories for people who remember football way back, bring back some of our history. And I'll tell you, I wish I could know what Coach Flynn's thinking as he walked onto this field after so many years and after all the great, outstanding battles that took place on this football field when he comes back. He was just such a great guy. He was such a great guy to talk to. He was a class act all the time. I mean, you didn't have any dirty plays.
Nothing.
He put up with none of that crap. He'd yank him right out of the lineup if he saw that happening. And it's just good to see him back here again. It brings a little piece of history back to this stadium, which is just absolutely steeped in history to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, Bonesy, we'll talk to him, and he with his exploits that were well-renowned here in Red Tornado land. All right, the Tide's coming out after the timeout. There's 1 minute 59 remaining in the second quarter. It's 2nd and 6 from the Red Tornado 37, and the Tide are driving. The Red Tornadoes lead 7-0. This time Miranda's going to pass. He got plenty of time, and he's trying to get, McFarland. McFarland tried to get Miranda, and it's broken up down there by Lidkavich and Dara.
Miranda's looking for a flag there. Number one, the ball was overthrown. I don't think he would have gotten it, first of all. And second of all, Drew went up as high as he possibly could, and I'll tell you what, he had a heck of a chance. It hit him in the shoulder pad and bounced off.
All right, 3rd down and 6 now for the Tide.
And you can see that they're trying to use Miranda's speed there to get him open.
Now, McFarland's going under center for only the 2nd time this evening. And they moved. That's what happens when you switch things around. He's calling the cadence now from at the line, and the backfield moved on him before he got to where he was going. And that, again, only 2 times in the entire half has he taken a center snap from under the center. He's been in that shotgun formation almost exclusively. And when he did, he screwed it up a little bit, and he didn't screw it up, but somebody didn't get the count and went offside. And that was a crucial penalty because now it's 3rd and 11 for the Tide. Ball back on the other side of the Red Tornado 40-yard line at the 42. And now he goes back to a more familiar shotgun formation, and Miranda comes in motion towards him. Straight pass play, looks down there. He was trying to get to Miranda, and Miranda was open.
Yeah.
He was open in the middle of the field. Somebody didn't see Miranda as he came in motion. He fooled him. So the Red Tornadoes dodge a little bit of a bullet because every time Miranda touches the ball, he is a threat to score. It brings up 4th and 11 now, and now the Tide needs to get at least a first down.
Yeah, and you can see that Miranda's on the field, and they are definitely trying to get the ball into his hands.
Now, that time McFarland had all the time in the world to throw. I mean, he wasn't rushing, but again, he's high on almost everything so far that he's thrown.
Somebody had come up through the center and got a hand up, and he had to get the ball a little bit higher than what he wanted.
Again, straight drop back pass. He's under some pressure now. Gets away from it. He's free, and he's not going to pick the first down up, and the Tide will turn the ball over.
They'll turn it over, but I'll tell you what, he came very close to picking up. He's only about 2 yards short.
That's Dara getting off the ball down there, and Greco on the stop, and the Red Tornadoes, once again, a big defensive stand here late in the second quarter of play. 1 minute 40 remaining, and the Red Tornadoes take over 1st and 10.
Boy, I'll tell you what, they really hunkered down that time, when they needed to, and made a great stand.
This is a really odd offense in that they seldom use a running back.
Yeah.
It's very odd. You don't normally see an offense like this one where McFarland really is the guy that does it all. This time we get Wargo, and he's going to take the pass, and he continues to struggle all the way out at the 45-yard line and goes out of bounds.
Yeah.
He's stopped down there by Miranda, 12, and number 2, Beetle.
What you want to do, Wargo wants to get to the outside, and he wants to step out of bounds. If he sees that he's defended well and the center of the field's taken up, he wants to get out of bounds. You want to kill the clock at this point. We have our 3 first downs left over. You don't want to burn them if you don't have
timeouts,
to. Or timeouts, I'm sorry.
All right, ball's on the 45. It's 1st and 10. Again, we go right back to pass. And again, the other side, we go to Wargo, and he's down at the 50. He touchdown at the 50. Davis had a lot of time to throw tonight. A tribute to this offensive line. He has not been under a lot of pressure the entire evening.
No, this offensive line is doing everything he wants them to do tonight, especially on the passes.
Again, we look back, and he's trying to find Ledkavich, and he does. Ledkavich running free over the 40 down to the 37-yard line. The Red Tornadoes want to call a timeout, and they do.
Yeah,
they stop the clock.
I'll tell you what, take a look at Ledkavich. Drew catching this pass on the flat. Hands in perfect position, man. That ball just comes in, and he grabs it.
He was at Supper Club. All right, they didn't call a timeout. I'm sorry, they didn't. I thought they were going to, and they didn't. They have them. But they're going to save him a little bit as we look downfield again. And this time he floods in again. He looks at Wargo, and again he has him. And this time Wargo goes out of bounds.
No. Keep it going.
I don't know how he didn't get called out of bounds. The clock stopped that they moved the chains, but I thought he was out of bounds. I'm surprised he didn't get out. 38 seconds left when they crank the clock here, and now there's a timeout. Now the Red Tornadoes have called timeout as they've driven down to the 24-yard line.
As soon as he hit the ground and the referee kept his arm going to indicate that the clock was to continue to run, we called timeout immediately.
I thought we called timeout. I thought we were calling timeout the first time around, but we didn't. And I was surprised a little bit because we have them, and there is only 38 seconds left. There's not a whole lot of time to do much. Now, I guess worst case scenario, we're trying to wheedle our way down in there for another field goal attempt if we can, as the ball's sitting now at the 24-yard line.
I'll tell you what, Dave and Wargo are working that sideline to perfection.
Well,
it's just amazing.
They're playing pretty loose, though, too. I'm surprised that those corners aren't coming up. The corners are laying way off, and that, I'm guessing, is respect for the speed. Because in that type of play, if he beats the corner, it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Now, the corner is kind of cheating a little bit, thinking, I need some room here. But that room that he gives, and all we're doing is going back and forth on one side of the field to the other. It's not just one corner. They're hitting all of them. Now we come out in that trips formation with 3 guys out to Dave's right, and he looks that way. But he's got Ledkavich in the middle of the field. Touchdown! Red Tornadoes, a 24-yard toss from Shinsky to Ledkavich, and that was as pretty as it gets. Everybody to the right side. Ledkavich streaks to the left, and he's wide open.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Dave looked at him the whole way. I had him in the binoculars, and Drew Ledkavich, and it was man-to-man coverage on Drew Ledkavich, and it was number 30. And, of course, Drew Ledkavich has the size on him and the speed.
Cortese, a very small defender.
Yep, and I'll tell you what, Dave led Drew Ledkavich to perfection on that pass.
And Kufta puts it up and good. So with 32 seconds remaining in the first half of play, the Red Tornadoes now out to a 14-0 lead over the Crimson Tide of Pottsville area.
Boy, you talk about a passing game again.
Man,
I'll tell you
that's a clinic there.
Wow. Right down the field, you're talking about from about the 30-yard line. We're driving all the way down and score on that one. But I'll tell you what, take a look at the pass. You got Wargo to the outside. On one side, we get him to the other side. We don't get him out of bounds, but we're still working the sidelines. Mm-hmm. We got Drew Ledkavich again coming out, hitting the flat area here, working the sidelines. And all of a sudden, what does that do? We set up trips to the right, we flood the area, and we drag Drew Ledkavich across the center and catch them off guard.
So a big drive in a very few amount of minutes for the Red Tornadoes. I mean, I think the Tide were thinking they were just going to run this half off and take 7 points in the locker room, and the Red Tornadoes go nuts on them.
Stop and think, though. The Tide was having a great drive of their own. They started down here on their own 30-yard line, or 20-yard line after the missed field goal, and drove it all the way down.
All right, Shinsky will tee it up down there. He's kicking it in the direction of Chaplonia, who does get it, number 5, as he heads up the field now. And he's going to be brought down there by number 3, of course, John Dara, the 6-foot senior.
And look who's getting up off the bottom also. Our boy, number 1.
Uno.
Yep, Quintero.
He is such a football player on the special teams. And I'm kidding about him. And I tell you what, you got to like a kid like him. When his size, when you look at this kid, Dave Quintero's a sophomore. He's 5'8", 135 pounds. And he is on every single special teams play that we've seen this year so far. That is just one hard-nosed football player. All right, McFarland will bring him up. You have to assume he's going to pass, and he doesn't. So I'm not going to assume those things anymore, as he handed it off down there to number 36. And he makes a nice run on the play, and we haven't seen much of him. That's Lukash. He's the guy we thought we'd see the most of, actually, and we haven't.
Yeah, we got a flag on the play here.
So Lukash, I believe, picked up a first down on the play, depending on what that flag. Nice run by Lukash is wiped out by the holding penalty. It's now 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. And we go right to Lukash again, and this time Matsura hits him head on in the hole and brings him down.
Yeah, Matsura read that great from his left linebacker position, and that kills the half.
Yep, that's the end of the first half of play here at the Silver Bowl with Mount Carmel, with the score of the Red Tornadoes 14, the Crimson Tide of Pottsville 0. Stay tuned, of course, for all of the homecoming festivities that are about to take place. We're going to bring them to you. And, of course, right after that, we will hear about the first half stats as Wayne goes down and gets them from our main man, Jose Gonzalo. Stick with us, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, highlighting tonight's game with Pottsville is the crowning of the 2002 Homecoming Queen. Homecoming is a tradition at Mount Carmel area, with many young women competing for the honor of being crowned Homecoming Queen. Members of the senior, junior, and sophomore classes voted for their choices this past week. At this time, we would like to introduce to you the 3 senior candidates, 2 junior and 1 sophomore representatives that have been chosen by their respective classes. Our first senior candidate is Miss Nicole Petroskevich. Nicole is the daughter of Ed and Donna Petroskevich and resides at 1035 Scott Street in Coltmont. Her activities include Art Club Secretary and Interact Club Treasurer. PAUD, Pep Club, and SADD. Nicole is statistician for the track team and a member and vice president of the marching and symphonic band. She is being escorted by John Dara, a member of the football team. Her future plans are to attend a 4-year college and major in biology. Our second senior candidate, Miss Christy. She is the daughter of Ralph Segwitzky of Cole Township and Lisa Lanciano of Coltmont. Her activities include Interact Club, Students Against Drunk Driving, Future Nurses of America, Prom Promise. She has been an honor roll student for 4 years. The past summer, Christy was employed by the JEPTA program as an office assistant at the Mount Carmel Area High School. She also participated in job shadowing with a pharmacist at the Geisinger Medical Center. Christy is being escorted by senior member of the football team, Damian Buggy. Christy plans to attend Wilkes University to major in pharmacy. Our third senior candidate is Miss Kristen Karpinski. Kristen is the daughter of Tammy Karpinski and the late Jeff Karpinski of 1502 Missouri Lane, Denmark Gardens, Mount Carmel Township. Her activities include Vice President of the senior class, member of Student Council, National Honor Society, Varsity Cheerleading Squad, Ski Club, Interact Club, Science Club, Tornado Time Staff, SAD, State Schools Committee, Computer Club, and editor of the news staff. She is being escorted by Steve Matsura, captain of the varsity football team. Her future plans are to attend a four-year college. Our first junior representative is Miss Melissa Deuceman. She is the daughter of Ken and Linda Deuceman and resides at 430 West 2nd Street in Mount Carmel. Her activities include varsity cross-country, cheerleading, track and field, ski club, National Honor Society, and science club. She is also a member of PAUD, Interact, Intramural, Volleyball, and Student Government. She is being escorted by Dave Brown, captain of the football team. Her future plans are to attend a four-year college and major in pre-law. Our sophomore representative, Miss Samantha Shutt. She is the daughter of William and Pauline Shutt and resides at 100 North Beach Street in Mount Carmel. Her activities include varsity cheerleading, marching band, student government, ski club, art club, and school operetta. She also takes singing piano lessons. Her escort is Randy Swank, captain of the varsity football team. Her future plans are to attend a four-year college. And our next junior representative is Miss Rosa Jarvis. She is the daughter of Robbie Jarvis and resides at 649 Chestnut Street, Faultline. Her activities include varsity cheerleader, track and field, ski club, National Honor Society, Interact Club, PAUD, Students Against Drunk Driving, softball, gymnastics, art club, and student government. She is being escorted by Mike Lashinsky, a member of the varsity football team. Her future plans are to attend a four-year college and pursue a career in physical therapy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a nice round of applause for these lovely ladies and their escorts. The final moment of anticipation has now arrived, and at this time, I would like to introduce to you the 2002 Homecoming Queen. And the 2002 Homecoming Queen is Miss Christy. Miss Christy will be captain of the football team, Dave Shinsky. As these young ladies will now be escorted to their seats, we would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Ronnie Cicatano and Dave's Auto Body for their cooperation in making tonight's homecoming activities a success. And before the Mount Carmel area marching band takes the field, we say congratulations to the winning homecoming float, the sophomore class with the theme of the 50s. Also, best presentation award goes to the junior high float with the theme of the
Okay, gang, we are back here after the homecoming festivities, and of course, they were as great as always. You saw it live here as we watched it, and it turned out to be a very nice affair for everyone involved, as it always does. Of course, if you didn't see, it was the parade, which was a great parade. They had floats; each class had a float and everything, so it was pretty big festivities in Mount Carmel tonight.
And congratulations to the Queen, Christy.
Absolutely, yep.
Our hats off to her. What a great queen.
Just a beautiful girl. Absolutely. Yep. All right, we'll go to the first half stats here now as we get ready to begin the second half. And Wayne, what do we see here?
Well, I'll tell you what, Jose really did some numbers down there. He had to, do a lot adding up, especially on the passing side. You're watching this game, and you can tell exactly what's going on. What a great defense on both sides against the run. Pottsville coming in, with a lot of their halfbacks touted to be, some of the quickest that we're going to see this year for the full season. In the rushing department, of course, Mount Carmel, 11 carries for only 15 yards tonight. Kovaleski, 5 for 6. Brown, 3 for 11. But in the passing department, this is where we've really stepped it up, and everybody has completely gelled together. Number one on the line. If you don't give Dave enough time, he is not going to really step up and do what he needs to do in the passing department. We're 12 of 15 for 183 yards in the first half. Wargo coming out 4 for 42. LeCavage, 3 for 78. Matsura, 2 for 32. Dara, 2 for 15. And Buggy, 1 for 16. So, you give Dave all the time in the world, which we're doing. And if you and I'm just saying to the people, if you watch the game, I watch it with the binoculars. Pottsville is blitzing on a passing down, and just about every down, they're blitzing one of their linebackers and a corner man. So our offensive line is doing an outstanding job for Dave tonight. For him to look at 5 receivers so far tonight.
First down. The total yards is what, 85? What is he?
183.
183. I'm
in
sorry.
The first half.
Okay.
First down department, we have 8. On the Pottsville side, in the rushing department, and I'll tell you why. Each one, no matter who touches the ball over on that side of the field, very difficult to bring down as we've seen in the first half, and very close. One man from breaking and scoring. This is a very good team, a very large team, disciplined on the line especially. And we were told that the line was the team here. In the rushing department, 18 for 85 yards, passing 2 of 5 for 28, and 4 first down. So defensively, we've stepped it up when we needed to. Pottsville had driven down in the first quarter and very close to scoring. We stood our ground and stopped them. And again, in the end of the second quarter, they were already down on the 20-yard line when we stopped them again.
Right.
And then we took the ball, drove all the way down, and scored ourselves. We're doing everything that needs to be done to win a game. If it's not in the running department, if it's not there. And I think, looking overall at the different games that they've played against Hazleton and so on and Blue Mountain, we knew it was going to be a difficult night to run the ball because of the size of this defensive team that Pottsville put on. So what do you have to do? You have to step it up and you put the ball up in the air.
All right, the Crimson Tide kick off there, and that's number 35. And unfortunately, I can't tell you who that is because he's not listed. Wargo with the ball as he comes upfield, and he'll take it up to the Red Tornado 34-yard line. Will be 1st and 10. And just to follow up on that, Wayne, you're right. You got to remember, this season is the 5th game now. This is the first time since the first game with Pius X that this game is still undecided. As we move into the second half of play here, it can go either way still. So a very tough game. We'll see what the adjustments. Obviously, the Tide needed to adjust to our passing game. We'll see if they did or not. They have done a great job against the rush. And there's Kovaleski, and he's going to pick up a couple of yards on the play as they'll mark him down. Let's see where they mark him down at the Red Tornado 37-yard line. Pick up a 3. We'll say it's 2nd down and 7.
I'll tell you what, number 31 for Pottsville, John Monk Williams, he kept him from picking up a first down. He was already down on the ground. He swiped and just tripped Kovaleski up.
So he puts Buggy in motion and a flag, and I'm not sure what that flag's going to be, and neither is Coach Brennan, and as he just threw kind of a fit there at the line judge. I'm not sure what that was.
I don't know either.
It's going to go against us, but I'm not sure why he called it. I'm not sure what happened on the line there. They call it illegal procedure, and they're having a pretty heated argument down on the field down there with the line judge and Coach Brennan, but either way, he's going to lose that one. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 11 or so for the Red Tornadoes. We're actually a long 11, very close to 12 on the illegal procedure penalty, which I couldn't tell you what it was. We did some shifting, and it may be something very subtle that we didn't see it down close, but he threw it way before the play even was executed. We're back to pass and looks downfield, and he's got Matsura wide open down there was Matsura as he takes it over the 50-yard line down to the Crimson Tide 44. And again, they have not solved the passing scheme yet.
I'll tell you what, a great fake there. And I think it was to Kovaleski coming to this side because they had two men come in. They did break through the offensive line, automatically went for the fake. Dave hid the ball down on his leg and rolled around, although he did take a good hit after he released the ball. But boy, what a great pass.
It's 1st and 10 now for the Red Tornadoes in Tide territory at the 44. Shotgun formation, we hand it to Lekavich right up the middle. Lekavich breaks free. He's still rolling. And he rolls down inside the 30, down to the 28-yard line.
That's what you call running with determination, and that's what you have to do here. Drew Lekavich did one thing and did not slow down at all. He picked his hole, he ran straight through it, and right down the field.
It's 1st and 10 again for the Red Tornadoes as they've taken the ball here in the second half and have continued what they were doing at the end of the first half. So, again, threatening now down at the 28-yard line. And he comes out now in the straight I formation, puts Kovaleski in motion, and hands it right to Brown, the big guy. And Brown's going to rumble and grumble all the way down. And he rumbles down to the Tide 22-yard line.
I'll tell you what, a great play to call because where they're running that is right off tackle. And what you're doing is you have the tight end, you have Wargo or Buggy on that side, crashing down on the tackle. So the only one that's there to take our boy David on is their defensive end. And you know, as we've seen so far this year, one-on-one just doesn't work.
No, absolutely not. They were lined up in a split backfield now. And he hands it to, I think that's Kovaleski. I'm not sure who was on the other side of the split back. Let me see if he gets up there first. I'm sorry, Matsura, not Kovaleski. Matsura was in that split backfield with Brown that time. Number 90, Eric Huffnagel on the stop. And Huffnagel's probably one of the biggest guys out there. Him and Pilo, 95. They're two loads to move around down there for the Tide. It's going to bring up a 3rd down now and 3 as Kovaleski now will bring the play into Shinsky. We haven't seen Matsura in the backfield much tonight.
No.
And he's going to line up there, split out to the left, and he'll come in motion behind Shinsky now. Shinsky back to pass. He looks over, and he's got Wargo again. Wargo is going to take it down to the 10-yard line where it's going to be 1st and goal, I believe where they mark it. Yes, 1st and goal from the 10 now for the Red Tornadoes as they are again threatening the Crimson Tide.
Very good.
Crimson Tribe there. How was that?
Tell you what, it's the motion that is number one. If you take a look, I don't know whether Pottsville's trying to figure out what type of defense to put on. Then the motion just drags everybody over to one side, and we are getting one-on-one.
This time he puts everybody to the right, but he sends Lashinsky right up the middle. Lashinsky keeps pounding down there.
And still
Lashinsky pounds down to the 5-yard line.
Down to the 4.
4-yard line where he stretched it to the 4. 2nd and goal from the 4, and that was hard running. And it appears that the Red Tornadoes are running the ball much better here in the second half than they were in the first.
Well, as you know, the run will loosen up your pass, but the way Dave has been passing the ball tonight, that sort of puts the defense back on our heels a little bit. Now we're starting to move the ball.
All right, he brings in the bruiser. The Larry Zonka look-alike. Brown is going to be at that fullback position, and he's got Kovaleski in back of him. Straight eye, and we go right up the middle, and Brown pounds it in there. No stopping Brown. Touchdown, Red Tornadoes at the 7:26 mark of the 3rd quarter of play. The score now, Mount Carmel area 20. The Tide, nothing with Kufta on for the extra point attempt, and that was just smash mouth football.
I'll tell you
there.
what. Rich Greco, Randy Swank, and Joe Dowkus, number 72, in the center of the line, along with number 77, Scott Novak, and Marshall Merarkey, are now starting to move some people on that Pottsville line.
And Kufta puts it up, and it is good. So the Red Tornadoes now with a 21-point lead on the Tide at 7:26. The Tide now have a crucial offensive series coming up, Wayne.
Oh, they have to. I said to Jose, we needed one more score. We knew by looking at how Pottsville had played that first half that they're still a dangerous team. I mean,
absolutely.
you just can't give them up. at this point, and a 2-touchdown lead here was a little bit shaky. Now you got a 3-touchdown lead. And not only that, you made a statement now. You came out and you took the opening kickoff and drove all the way down, and you scored.
Oh, absolutely.
So, now you're trying to tell them, okay, maybe every time we touch the ball now, we're going to take it over. You better do something.
All right, we're going to tee this thing up. And the one thing about the Tide is they're not shy about putting a whole bunch of different people back to receive kickoffs and punts. Every time you turn around, they got a new guy in there.
They're just trying to keep you on your toes.
That they are. Who's the guy in the middle, Wayne? Now, is he
30?
30, okay.
Yep.
You have to wait till they turn to see them. That's Cortese in the middle there, and he's flanked over there by number 20.
20 and number 5.
That's Gordon, and 5, of course, is Chaplonia. Hadn't had enough trouble with his name so far tonight. And he lets it rip, and it goes down there to number 20, who lets it drop. He fumbled it, but he recovered it. A nice play on the recover by Gordon as he slid as he was trying to catch, and the ball bounced around from him. Quintero was within an inch of it, as usual.
He dove for the ball.
Where does he come from?
I have no idea.
Goodness, where does that kid manage to be at the ball every single special teams play? All right, the Tide comes out. And they need to do something very quickly now, because very shortly time will become a problem for them. They have not really gotten into a threatening position much all night. McFarland, again, back in the shotgun. He has spent all but 2 plays in the shotgun tonight. And he's going to do that little rollout where he can either run or pass, and he passes. And this time he finds his guy Miranda. And Miranda is wrestled down there by Litkavich, who's made some excellent football tackles tonight.
Wow.
Litkavich at Supper Club last night. I'll tell you what, you want to look at a kid that just looks like a football player, not in pads or anything. He was sitting there, and he just looked like a football player, that kid.
Spitting image of you, right?
And I've got, well, half of me anyway.
Okay.
All right, brings up a 2nd and 1, a 9-yard gain on the pass to Miranda. And we're going to run for it as he picks and chooses his way, and he's still rolling. There's a kid that just won't go down. He takes it out to the 35-yard line where it's 1st and 10 Tide.
Actually, he tripped over. He didn't trip. He tried to jump.
He jumped over the pile there, yeah.
I think number 78, his own man.
Greco comes out now. I believe
Merarkey, number 71, goes in.
We shift around a little bit here on a 1st and 10 now. Again, the same exact shotgun formation. 1 back standing next to him. Passes downfield, and this time he was trying to hit number 2 down there, Beetle, or 7, I'm sorry,
7.
Wartella. And actually hit Wartella. I think Wartella picked his head up a second there to see what was coming.
He was coming over the middle of the field.
He dropped the ball.
And we had some defenders, some guys right there ready to put a shoulder into him.
All right, he keeps Lukash now is back in that backfield. He's the guy, as I said before, we expected to see more of him than we have. But he's standing next to McFarland. This is a straight pass. It's a screen. And it's well done there as he's going to go down the sideline and be very close to the 1st down. We'll see where they mark it as it was. Everybody kind of ran out of bounds down there on the Pottsville side of the ball. We'll see where the ball is spotted. And he is extremely close if he has not got. He did. 1st down for the Tide. Now they are moving a little bit here with 6:10 remaining in the 3rd quarter. That was a nice call that time.
That was a very good call that time. And, you want something. You got to keep the momentum going. They had 10 yards to go, and all he wanted to do, he didn't want to score. He needs to pick up the 1st down.
All right, he slids Beetle out far to his right. And he's looking for Beetle all the way. He's got Beetle, and Beetle couldn't hold on to it. Dara, as he was bobbling it, Dara whacked him, and he dropped the ball. So it'll bring up a 2nd down and 10 now for the Tide, and their passing game has not been crisp.
No, he's back there. The problem here is he's getting the ball and he's faking it, a handoff. Then he has to come back up again, and with the amount of pressure that he's getting from Swank and Brown, he's a little bit quick with his passing.
All right, he was in kind of trouble there to begin with, and now he's free. And again, he is a dangerous runner. He's brought down there by Lashinsky finally. but it's a good 9-yard gain on the play along with Brown. But he picked up 9 on the play. It'll be third down and about 1 in Red Tornado territory at the Red Tornado 46-yard line, and the Tide are moving again.
I'll tell you, and I said this to Jose when we were down there, I never saw a group of kids that touched the ball, and it must have been 5 players touched that ball tonight for Pottsville. Are very difficult to bring down.
All right, he's got Lukash now, and all he do is stand on one side or the other, and that's all it is. Lukash now on his right side, and Lukash with the ball. And Lukash goes up the middle, and he'll be brought down in there by Kufta and Lashinsky with some help from Buggy. Picks up about 3 yards in a play, and that's a first down. So it's now 1st and 10 again for the Tide, this time at the Red Tornado 42-yard line. And the Tide have put a nice offensive series together here so far in the third quarter. This time he brings Wartella, and he puts Miranda to the other side, to the far side. He's got a slot back, and he's going to keep it. And again, it's one of those keepers around the tackle there. As he's going to go up into the Mount Carmel 36-yard line.
And they pull their right guard, right tackle as their lead blockers when they call that play.
Merarkey into the lineup, and we'll give Swank a breather here as he comes out. All right, it's a 2nd down and 5 now for the Tide. They have their first real good sustained offensive movement of the night. This time we're going to go inside again, and this
nice
time,
play.
Nice tackle. Let me see who gets off the pile. That's Greco, yeah.
Rick Greco makes the play there. That time he grabbed the shirt from behind. He didn't let him go.
Greco, originally from Pottsville, he knows all these guys.
Oh, yeah.
I got a nice story to tell you about Rick Greco later on tonight. Not so much for you, but for me.
Huh, okay.
I'll tell you about that a little later on as we go through the broadcast. But very impressed with that young man last night at Supper Club, I got to tell you that. And, of course, you know, a classmate, you know, is his father, so I expected nothing less. This time we give it to Miranda, and Miranda cuts inside, and he's free. And Ledkavich just buried him.
Hit him, and his mouthpiece went flying.
Oh, my goodness. Ledkavich is like a missile tonight. Oh,
he is.
He's just not taking any prisoners tonight here.
He's on fire tonight.
You got to feed him Matucci food more often. My goodness. The official timeout now as the helmet. That's Miranda's helmet. Ooh. I mean, his helmet was broken there.
Helmet and mouthpiece went.
My goodness. I mean, he took a good, he got right back up, but my goodness. All right, 1st and 10. The Tide now threatening at the Red Tornado 25-yard line. They're down 21-0 here in the game. This time he's looking to pass, and now he's looking to run, and he's not going to because that's Brown all over him, Buggy all over him. A big loss.
Matsura and Merarkey.
And again, the Red Tornado defense stands up when it has to there. Yeah. It'll bring up a 2nd down now and about 16.
Well, I think the talk that Randy had gotten sort of spilled over into the defensive line that time. You know, when Randy came over.
I was trying to ignore that.
Breather a little bit.
I was trying to ignore that breather. Well, you're probably right.
He's probably thinking, please don't call me out for another breather.
All right, 2nd and 16 now for McFarland. This time he's going to do that same throw. And this time he's on and he's loose.
He's loose.
And he could be going as Ledkavich is the last guy to bring him down, and he does, but not before he goes down to the Red Tornado 9-yard line where it's 1st and 10 Tide. 1st and goal now from the 9 for the Crimson Tide. And we cannot stop that play.
That's a good play, and I said they're putting a lot of people out there. He's a great halfback as a quarterback. They're pulling their guard and tackle, and I'll tell you what, they're good lead blockers going up through there.
He's the best runner they have.
Yes, he is.
All right, McFarland gets him lined up there. Again, exact same formation. They have not varied their formation except twice. As he's going to cut inside, and he's going to be piled up down around the 6-yard line.
And that was an option play, but I'll tell you what, take a look at him. He saw a hole, and he picked up 4 yards. He just, on his own, he wasn't going to pitch it. Just turned it straight upfield.
Never mind. All right, we're set up, but we're on just about the 5-yard line. It's 2nd and goal from the 5. McFarland goes under center. 3rd time this night we've seen that. He drifts back to pass, and he was trying to find the big guy, 95, and let Cabbage down there along with Dara, broke him up. And I'll tell you what, when you can break it up going to 95, Pilo, he's about 285 pounds. Nice defensive play by the Red Tornado defensive backfield. It's 3rd and goal from the 5 now.
Tell you what, when you see a play like that, and that's a great call. You know, just to your, it's a fake dive to freeze the linebackers, and you got 2 men taking the end on. You know they are keying on the right people and watching who they're supposed to watch.
All right, we have a timeout by the Tide now as they want to talk this thing over. This is the closest they've been all night to the end zone, and they don't want to mess anything up here. You can tell the importance of this defensive end, Babinski, now in the defensive huddle for the Red Tornadoes, giving them their instructions. So this is a big 2 downs or so for the Pottsville Crimson Tide. They need to come away with a touchdown if they expect to stay in this football game. Just a hard, that one play where they moved to the left over the tackle, and they got about 5 guys leading it.
Yep.
That's a tough play to defense, and my bet is they're going to try to do that down here. I think they've not had success just straight running into the middle.
No, and you're right. They have a short field right now. You know, they only have 5 yards to go, and they have 2 downs to do it, and they're gonna take it to the left side. That's the wider side of the field. It'd give the quarterback more room to run.
All right, here it is. He goes back to his shotgun formation now where he's most comfortable. Again, that's the play they run. And there he goes, and he does not get in. In fact, he got down to about the 3, gained 2 yards on the play. It is now 4th and goal from the 3-yard line. Nice defensive play. Look at Brown getting off the bottom there. There you have it. 4th and goal. The Tide truly, and we have a Tide player down on the far side of the field. There'll be a timeout as the Tide player. I'm not sure how he even got hurt over there, but he's down on his one knee, so we're going to have a stoppage of play here.
Something happened over here in the middle, and he was trying to walk off and couldn't make it.
And the Tide are not going to elect, from what I can tell, Wayne, they are not going to elect to go for a field goal.
No,
it looks.
They can't. They're down by 3 touchdowns. They know that they need a 7-pointer on the score. They need a TD here. And again, you know, if I was the Pottsville coach, their play, their bread and butter right at this point where they moved the ball was running over that left-hand side. And, you know, with 3 yards to go, if he doesn't run that play, there's something wrong.
All right, Beadle was the injured Tide player. He has trotted off the field. They set up now, and they are slightly confused even after the timeout, and that's a scary moment for Coach Johnson. They still can't get set up. They go into that shotgun, and they get the play off barely. It's a pass play or a run. Oh! Buggy buried him, and it's over for the Tide. The scoring chance has been snuffed out. I'm not sure why they ran that play and how they had a timeout, and they came out in the field totally disorganized.
Yeah.
Nobody was in the right spot after a timeout.
Yeah, they had no clue what they were doing, where they were running. But I'll tell you what a great defensive stand. They drove all the way down the field running that one play, and we then got some success in stopping that play. They tried to run it a few times down inside the 10-yard line, and of course stopped them on the 3. And why that coach ever ran that play from
that was a curious
call. I have no idea.
That was a curious football call with 3 yards. We fake it down there, and Dave's going to go. Keep it, Dave. Go down. Go down. All right, we had Wargo there for a split second. He did the right thing. He tucked it in and he went down. Now he goes down with a loss, and we'll see where they spot the ball on the loss here. It looks like they're at the
3.
I don't know. They didn't put it down. No, they're at the 7 or so. No. I'm not sure what he was doing there.
I don't know.
All right, now he's inside the 5. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will bring the third quarter of play to close here at Mount Carmel with the Red Tornadoes in the lead. 21-0 over the Pottsville area Crimson Tide.
But,
that defensive stand was truly an amazing moment.
That was. That was a boost. I'll tell you what. The kids have to be getting a little tired here. We know they're going back and forth. Pottsville is bringing a defensive team on. They're large enough that they can do that. But I'll tell you what, hats off to that defensive team, the whole crew of them. In fact, the play right before that, where they tried to the fake dive and tried to hit the offensive end in the middle of the field, was defense great by our back. So, everybody has stepped up at this point.
A big quarter for the Red Tornadoes as they score a touchdown. The rest of the quarter was all Crimson Tide until the last 2 seconds of it. And just a great defensive stand. The Red Tornado, Red Death defense standing up to its reputation here tonight against a very talented Quad A Pottsville Crimson Tide. So we got 12 minutes of football left here. Mount Carmel area, if they can hold on and beat this team, will take a massive hit on points as far as district and playoffs go. This will be a big, big win as far as the points go. And right now, although down on their own 3 and 16 to go, they're in the driver's seat. So we'll see. Now, I thought that was telling a little bit in that we came out passing.
Right.
On the 6-yard line.
We were very successful in the pass that we attempted, and that was the flat pass to either Buggy or Dara on either side.
Now we go to an I formation here, and he's going to put Kovaleski in motion. He's got Brown behind him. He's looking around, and he's going to give it to Brown, and there's a flag. And I believe that there might be calling the motion guy turning up too early. I'm not sure. So we'll see what this flag is. Either way, it can't hurt you too much. We're already on the 3, so... And that is a illegal shift.
And they're going to decline that.
So we'll see what they do there. It's a 1.5 yards they do. You're right. Decline it. It'll bring up a third and... Well, let me see where they marked it now because it's not 16 anymore.
15.
15, all right. Split hairs. Go ahead. Cabbage goes in for Kovaleski here. So you're right. It is third. It's actually 3rd and 16 still. It didn't even move that much. All right, let's see what we got in this big 3rd down play. We'd love to get a first down here and not have to kick out of our end zone, but we'll see what the Red Tornadoes have in store. And we have in store is Cabbage, and he keeps moving up the field there, and he going to pick up about 6 yards, very close to the original line of scrimmage. 4th down, and we'll be kicking out of our end zone. 11:26 remaining in the ball game now as the Red Tornadoes set up to do a very dangerous thing, and it is always dangerous in high school, in college, and in the pros, and we've seen that time and time again, trying to kick out of your own end zone. So we need everything right. He gets the ball back perfectly, and he booms it. He's going to drive.
He touched it.
Now he's down at the 41-yard line. What a kick.
Shinsky.
Oh, my goodness. That's Cortese, and he has had all kinds of problems trying to catch the ball tonight, and he did again.
I'll tell you what, you can see that, the foot. Dave just put a lot into that because Cortese had to turn and try to catch that over his shoulder.
Right.
So it was unexpected for him, and of course he drops the ball, and then he had to jump on it to make sure
he's had
his
problems in as far as catching the punts tonight. So the Tide has it now on the 41-yard line, their own 41. Shotgun formation for McFarland. And he's going to pass immediately, and he looks down there, and he's got number 2, Beetle. And Beetle will be brought down in a hurry. The pickup is going to be about, we'll give him 3 yards in a play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7 for the Tide on the short pass.
Yeah, it was a short pass. Very quick. We have been putting some pressure, especially when he goes back to pass. They're looking for a little bit longer pass than what that was, trying to pick up, some more yardage. We kept him in bounds, and the clock is running with 10 minutes.
And this is that right up the middle quarterback play, and he's going to pick up, let's see, we'll give him another 3 yards on the play. So it's going to bring up about 3rd down and 4. Yep, 3rd down and about 4 now. Clock continues to run here in the 4th quarter of play, 10:25 remaining now. The Tide need to put points on the scoreboard, and they need to do it fairly quickly if they want to remain in the football game. It's a 21-point lead now for the Red Tornadoes, and the Tide have just been turned back from their best shot at the end zone moments ago. Penalty flag is flying, and I'm not sure what that's going to either be too much time.
Too much time
when the guy in the backfield throws it.
Yeah.
It'll be 5 yards. And those little dingers that Pottsville gets hit with are really making a mess out of their offense.
Yeah, and especially when it's 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2. We saw in the first half they did that twice. And that kills your drive as you're moving down the field. You get some momentum going, you know?
Yeah. Well, now it's 3rd and 8. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
And we go from 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 8. Ball down at the tied 44-yard line as McFarland comes up in that shotgun formation. He keeps Lukash in with him there, and he'll either fake it to Lukash or Lukash will help block. And this is going to be to Lukash, and Buggy sends Lukash for about a 7-yard loss on the play as he read the play perfectly.
I don't know how many times they thought they were going to run that play. And,
right, it worked once, and that was it.
Once or twice it worked, and Buggy just stayed back. He saw that they were letting the defensive line through rather easily, and he picked up the receiver over on that side and decided just to stay there.
Red Death defense all over the field. They are truly playing an amazing football game against this Crimson Tide squad. Tavares gives it a good kick. He drives Wargo back inside his 30-yard line, and Wargo's going to try to come upfield, and he won't because number 63 for the Tide down early, Adam Kaufman, and he puts Wargo on the ground. 9:06 now remaining in the ball game as the Red Tornadoes will take over 1st and 10. And now all they need to do now is just grind out a couple of first downs, and this game will be out of reach for the Tide.
Yeah.
Brown will trot out of that lineup now. We'll go a little quicker lineup as Shinsky goes in there. Kovaleski also out of the lineup. Well-played game by both squads. Red Tornadoes really clicking on the offense passing. You get Lashinsky back there as the lone fullback now in back, and he'll go fake to Lashinsky and an inside handoff to Matsura. He'll take it up over the 30-yard line to the 31, a gain of 4. He'll bring up 2nd and 6 now.
And that's a good call. You know, it's a good play because it's misdirection number 1. We see that they've been setting up in the pass defense mostly, and if you can get an opening, a gap in that line on your trap play as you're running through that misdirection play, you know, Matsura, we see how deadly he can be when he gets the ball.
Pitch back to Kovaleski as he's going to try to turn a corner, and he does. Takes it out to the 40-yard line, 1st and 10, Red Tornadoes.
Good lead blocking there, the whole crew, as we had the pulling guards. Rick Greco and Joe Daukus coming out. Some good blocking also by Dave Brown, the lead blocker. And you can see Kovaleski putting on, you know, some steam there. And worked his blockers very well. He was shielded right along the sideline and enough to pick up the first down.
Big Randy Swank out at center there. We go to the up back and the ball's loose. Fumble recovered by Marshall Merarkey. The ball popped loose right at the line of scrimmage. Merarkey all over. It could have been a tough fumble, but we recovered it. The clock continues to run here. We'll be inside of 8 minutes shortly here as Lashinsky comes out.
Daukus comes out. He got hurt. John Novak, number 66, goes in the guard position.
Daukus a little shook up. You're right. As he came out, he's taking a knee on the sideline there. And now, I'm not sure what we're doing here now. I'm not sure if we have enough guys in there now. All right, we do. That was an odd replacement going there. Shinsky drops back to pass. He finds Wargo over there along the Pottsville sideline, and Wargo picks up the first down. 1st and 10, Red Tornadoes inside the Tide territory now at the Tide 49-yard line. Nice pass that time. They cannot cover Wargo.
They cannot cover Wargo, and I'll tell you what, Dave is putting that ball out there nice fashion tonight. But Wargo running some great patterns. They got the defensive backs backpedaling just enough that we can pick this ball up on the flat, giving enough room there also to make some maneuvers, and like Wargo did that time, to pick up the first down.
Interestingly enough, they're going against Miranda, the best defensive back that they have. All right, I formation. Now Wargo's going to come in motion. And I'm not sure. We have to figure out what it is we're doing wrong there, because something's wrong as Matsura catches the pass, but he'll take it down to the 15-yard line, but there's a flag on the play. And I just can't figure out what they're calling, to tell you the truth.
That time we did have a lean on the line, a little bit of motion going forward, and, that's illegal. You can't have that.
That's a tough penalty for Red Tornadoes, as the ball would have been down at the 14-yard line, but instead it will come back, and it will go back over into Red Tornado territory. Be 1st and 15 in Red Tornado territory, about the 46-yard line. Beautiful pass again by Shinsky, though. He is just as hot as you can get throwing the football tonight, and his receivers are just as hot.
Yeah, Matsura ran a nice pattern. It was a down, out, and down. He just released after he squared out to the sideline. And
Matsura is just so hard to cover, though. He is so savvy about where to be, and he's looking at that defensive back and making the right move and the right call at the right time. He's a nightmare to try to cover as he goes in motion now. And we hand it off to Litkavich up the middle. Kavich will gain a couple of yards on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and about 13 for the Red Tornadoes. But more importantly, the clock continues to tick away now, and the Tide growing more and more desperate as the time clicks down.
Number 32, Damian Chicatano, in the halfback, the tailback position now.
Now we bring him up. We keep the big guy, Brown, in the backfield. He's the lone back, and he'll stay and help a little bit. We go to Wargo again, and Wargo is open along the sideline down to the Tide 40-yard line. He's within a yard or so of the first down. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 2.
But the funny part about that is we're flooding that side, and Dave's still making that pass. A great pass that it is out onto the flat. We had trips to this side.
And that line is so good now. We left the big guy, Brown, in there to help. I mean, truthfully, he never hit anybody. Nobody got close enough. He didn't have to do anything, which he hates. He doesn't consider it a successful play unless he's knocked somebody over. All right, we're back to the I formation now with Brown. We put Chicatano in motion now as he trots along the field. It's a pass play. He's under pressure. He lost it down to Leonovich and broken up nicely in there. That was a nice play. But down there on the defensive side of the ball, all the way down, it was Eric Huffnagel, the defensive end, was actually covering down there.
I'll tell you what, if Dave Shinsky had a lot of pressure from the end, the defensive end on the right-hand side, number 18, Dave knew he had pressure coming from that side. If he had another second just to release that ball a little bit further, that was a touchdown.
Brings up a 4th and a long 1, and the Red Tornadoes will opt to punt and try to pin the Tide back. And this one's going to go into the end zone, I'm sure, and they're going to let it, and it does, just inside the end zone, actually. But it'll be 1st and 10 from the Tide 20-yard line for the Crimson Tide. They have 6 minutes and 26 seconds remaining to get into this football game. They trail 21-0.
Hey, we have our groupies and everything, that follow us and watch us every week. And
we
this
do?
And that. Yeah, we do. You got to keep in touch here. But there's a group of guys that watch us religiously on a Wednesday. There's about 10 of them. And one of them is his birthday coming up. In fact, it's tomorrow, Sunday, Shickley. And it's his 21st birthday, so I'm just throwing that out. He said he'd hoit me if I didn't announce that.
That's what you like with a fan club that threatens you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, McFarland on that keeper that he sprints around the end there. Kufta slowed him up. Lashinsky and Matsura will finally bring him down. And he'll have enough for the first down, as that play is just, if I were them, it's the only play I'd run. It's the only one we run with any kind of success, yet they do not run it all the time.
And I just don't understand why they're not running it all the time. Down here on the goal line, that's what he should have ran. He had 3 yards to go. This kid's picking up 10 yards every time he does it.
We must be the only fan club where, I think it's odd that people throw things at us.
Well, of course.
But say they're fans.
That's why we have this chicken wire in front of us there.
Still a little confused by that concept. All right, this time it's a straight pass play as McFarland looks downfield, and he's got number 30 who's open, but as always, Lekavich ends it in a hurry. The ball went down to Cortese. That was the first real good downfield pass play in a while for the Tide, but Lekavich has shut everything down, and he not only shuts it down, he hurts it. God, he is just absolutely a vicious hitter tonight, playing a great defensive game. And you look at Cortese, and he's about half the size of Lekavich to begin with. All right, 5:48 remaining in the game now as the Tide are now in red tornado territory again at the 48-yard line. And McFarland will take it out of that shotgun. And this time he's going to do the one we keep saying they should do. And this time, that's why maybe they don't. Down there is Buggy and Matsura. And he's taken down hard, and he's getting up a little bit.
Yeah,
tough on that one.
Buggy got him low. Buggy stayed in the hole that time. Everybody else pursued to the outside trying to contain him, and Buggy just kept his ground. Didn't move to the outside, but had the corner come up on that side, Dara to protect.
All right, McFarland had a shoelace problem going there, but he's okay. So he'll come back into the huddle now. He picked up just 2 yards in the play. It brings up 2nd down and 8 for the Tide now from the Red Tornado 47-yard line. This is a straight pass play now, so he looks downfield. A lot of pressure now, and he's loose again, and he is about as dangerous as you can be. Loose, and that time he was brought down by his own guy as he tried to hurdle one of his linemen on the ground. He couldn't get over him far enough and goes down short of the 1st down, down at the 40-yard line.
To me, any other quarterback would have been a loss.
Yes.
That would have been a sack.
Absolutely.
This kid has turned every one of those into plus yardage.
All right, it's a 3rd and 1 now. And he's going to run it, and he does, and he's going to pick up the 1st down. They'll place the ball down at the Red Tornado 36-yard line, 36-yard line.
Matsura makes the tackle. Was that your pay?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't get paid?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, the Tide driving again deep in Red Tornado territory, as deep as they normally get. At the 36, there's 4:14 remaining in the ball game as time continues to tick away for the Tide, down by 21. This time they give it to Lukash, and there's not been a play yet where they hadn't it to the running back that had any success whatsoever.
Right.
They're not an offense that apparently uses a running back a whole lot for openers, and they have had very little success at it the way they've been doing it. It'll bring up 2nd down and 8 for the Tide now. And that's a curious play to run this far down.
I'd let the quarterback even let him run.
Yeah. He fakes it. We go to that run around the end again, and that's going to pick up some yardage as he continues to churn and get behind this big guy. He's hiding behind the big guy down there, 95. When he got behind him, you couldn't see him. That's Pilo, and he's a giant. He picks up the 1st down along the sideline down there. It'll be 1st and 10 now as the Tide continues to move towards the Red Tornado goal line. Ball's right on the 25-yard line. It's 1st and 10. I'm sure the Red D would not want to see a score.
No.
They'd prefer a shutout here.
Especially with the way they played tonight, the whole night long.
A keeper now just to the other side. The same kind of play to the other side. You cannot bring this kid down. He is just one heck of an athlete. McFarland, the quarterback, he has done the major damage here tonight against the Red Tornadoes. Has not been good for any points yet, but he is just tough to bring down. That's another 11-yard gain. It's 1st and 10. Ball now on the Red Tornado 13.
Next time out, we'll do a tape change.
McFarland on a keeper, and this time they stack him up. He goes nowhere. As they read the play, nice. There's Greco getting up out of the pile down there, and Brown. And the Crimson Tide will call a timeout. Tonight were Amy Hampton, Krista Petruskevich, Steve Sakaitis, Jesse McPhee, Scott Bullock. Grips were Kevin Bush, Dave Else, and Alyssa Schwartz. And the director of this whole operation, and the student side of it, was, of course, Jumpin' Joe Gushin. Now, quickly back to that supper club last night. you know, you talk to these kids and you always ask one to speak for the group afterwards. And last night we elected Rick Greco. And, of course, an emotional game for him with so many people here that he knows on the other side of the ball. He was absolutely fantastic. I mean, such an eloquent kid and really spoke so well. And when we get this play done, I'll finish that up as McFarland gets him lined up. It's 2nd down and 10. And he goes back to pass. He's under a lot of pressure from Buggy. And he dumps it off down there, and he completes it down there to Beetle. But I don't think he's going to gain a whole lot of yardage on that thing.
He might have picked up 2 yards.
It'll bring up a 3rd down and 9. You're right. But it said so many nice things about me. Now, he knew there was another guy in the booth, but he couldn't remember who it was.
Oh, that's nice.
But, you know, and I said, that's fine, you know, but spoke so well of me and said such nice things. Of course, I'm now paying for his college education. All right, McFarland straight back now. He's looking, and he gets his man down there. Lekavich tackles him, and that's number 30, Cortese. He did not get the first down. The clock continues to run now at 2:10 and counting. It is 4th down and 2 for the Tide. They have found themselves in this position a couple of other times and have come away disappointed. This time he puts Lukash in the backfield next to him and puts Cortese to his right and Beetle to his left. And he gives it to himself.
This way.
And here he comes. And
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Where they spotted, he may have it.
I don't know.
Let's see what they say. He's very close. Lekavich made the initial stop down there. The Red Tornadoes say he didn't get it. I thought the spot was fairly generous compared to where I've seen lately. They're going to time it out. But back to Rick, you know, a kid talking about Pottsville and, you know, some of the things that go through a guy's mind when you know these players and, you know, they're, I guess, talking in chat rooms and things like that. And just really an emotional game for him. He's played a whale of a football game, but really impressed me with, he didn't get it. They have turned the ball over, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the football game.
Yeah.
They will not score as they are bitterly disappointed. They missed it by about a half a yard only. And the Red Tornadoes take over with 1:43 remaining in the football game. The ball sitting on the Red Tornado 4. But he spoke for the group of them so well. And just the way he composed himself and you know, held himself together, that's what you like to see with kids. And that's why kids are successful. When you see them up close like that at Supper Club and you get to talk to them and ask them questions, you see how they handle themselves. That's the real impressive part of kids. Keeper by Shinsky. He just pounds it over the 5-yard line up to about the 7. The Tide, I believe, will, I'm guessing, call timeout. They have 1 or 2 left. I'm not sure. They do.
They do.
So they'll stop the clock now with 1:33 seconds remaining in the ball game, and they are down 21-0. But that Supper Club is really where you get a sense of a kid. You know, when you see the way they do things and the way they talk and how they mingle with people. And it always amazes me. It just amazes me that kids in high school like that are so well prepared and just so at ease with a crowd of people around them. You know, I mean, people that they don't particularly know other than their parents and things. So I was very impressed, and I'm glad I got to talk with him finally, as he was here last year, and we didn't see a whole lot of him last year as far as talking with him, but he held his own.
If you remember, last year he had an injury there and wasn't able to play a few games. And but it all goes along with the whole program here that's set up in Mount Carmel. That's one of the things. Education. You get the kids up in front of a crowd,
right?
You know, to speak to them and let them know, you know, they could be at ease. And a lot of them, you know, you have to chuckle a little bit when it's a freshman or someone that's a little bit younger, you know, not as mature as the seniors and juniors, and you can see a difference in them.
He continued to pile the ball as Brown pounds up over the 15. Down. That's a first down. You're right. 1st and 10, and that's the ball game. They won't be able to stop the clock enough of times now to do anything. But, yeah, we call on some upperclassmen. He's a junior, of course. Yes. He has another year with us. But you call on the upperclassmen and the underclassmen he had with us. He had some sophomores with him and a freshman, in fact, he had with him. They get to see how it works. They get to see.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, they're so appreciative of what happens to them there. And if you don't think they know about fan support, you know, if you don't think they hear it down there, you're nuts, because every one of them to a man talks about how important it is to have the fans and hear them during a game. Red Tornadoes right up the middle. They will do nothing fancy for the rest of the game here. Lashinsky was the ball carrier there as time now at 48 seconds and counting now. This is an enormous win for this program this year. It catapults us into the proverbial catbird seat as far as the district playoffs go. District 4 teams are going to have a very difficult time catching us now, and we'd have to stumble extremely badly for this to turn out any other way but to qualify us as number 1 in the district. I know it's only 5 games and a lot to play, but you got to think that and think positive. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be the end of the football game here tonight. The Red Tornadoes have beaten the Crimson Tide of Pottsville area in a renewal of a famous rivalry here, 21-0. They are now 1 game away from evening the series. And we will see this team next year, of course, at the famous Pottsville field, where it's such a beautiful place to play a football game. The atmosphere there doesn't get any better. So we will look forward to that.
But I'll tell you what was great about this whole game. It was a great coaching scheme that was set up. They knew that Pottsville was coming in with a great defensive line. That our run was going to be a little bit difficult tonight, especially to the outside. We saw that the Crimson Tide had some great pursuit to the outside and basically shut the run down. But I'll tell you what, my hat's off. Some great calling on the sidelines, from the sidelines, and also not only that, some great play by the offense for the Tornadoes. It's not very often. We know that we can run the ball. How often is it that we pass just about every other down, in a football game? And to ask the offensive line to give Dave Shinsky as much time as he possibly needed to look over, and again, we saw the statistics in the first half that it was 5 players that had touched the ball receiving. My hat's off to those kids, because you're going from a running team now totally to a passing team. And what that tells you about your team is, hey, look, we're diverse enough. We can step up when we have to step up to win a football game and do what is needed.
Right. I mean, and you look down the line here, and if you're a team still on the schedule here, and you got the Marians and Marian Catholics and the North Schuylkill still sitting there, you got Danville sitting there, and of course you got Sinningsgrove losing last week to Mifflinburg in a bit of a surprise move there. That's a signal that you're sending to them that you're just even that's even more of a challenge to look at us and say, how do you defend us, or what do you do with us to make this thing work? So it's a good game. I said the points alone are fabulous. The fact that we picked up quad A points here, and of course they're going to be a winning record at the end of the year. They're still in the hunt for a district playoff themselves. They're out of District 11 in quad A.
Yes.
So they can bring a lot of points to us that way too. So the end of what we said was the Big 3 schedule, where we saw the Southerns and the Shimokins and the Crimson Tide here. Now we go to Marion, and no game is easy. I mean, quite frankly, I'm not trying to say that, but obviously a little bit better than we had originally hoped for. I think a lot of people thought we'd come out of here maybe 2-1 out of this 3-game series, and we came out 3-0. So we go to 5-0 on the season. The last 5 games, of course, coming up, and we will now begin to enter into a playoff picture in the next couple of games to see where everybody's going to shake out at. So that looks good for us. We had no injuries, which is the other thing we always like to see at the end of a football game. We saw no one come off hurt, and hopefully we've come unscathed. We've had some tough injuries in the last couple of weeks. Some knee injuries, and some of them were season-ending. So you like to see that happen. And it's always a more of a concern with a big school, a quad A school, compared to a single or a double A school that we are. So a lot of positives, not any negatives that I can tell. All right, gang, we got a pretty special moment here for you. And, of course, we talked about this a little bit earlier. In the beginning of the game for the coin toss, the ceremonial coin toss, of course, Glenn Bonesy Adams and Bill Flynn flipped the coin. Glenn, of course, or Bonesy's, well, most people know you, I guess, representing the Red Tornadoes. And, of course, if you're a football fan at Mount Carmel area, that name, Bonesy Adams, is very, very familiar. He had a fabulous career here at Mount Carmel area and went into college and had a fabulous career there. So I guess one of the things that it's always wonders people is when a guy like you, who's seen a fair amount of Mount Carmel football games over the years and played. First of all, give us a time frame. When was it that you played?
Well, I played in the late 40s, graduating to 49. So
Okay.
my last football year was 48.
Okay. So as we look at that time frame and we look now, you know, and you see kids now, you think there's a big difference in high school football from when you played?
Like night and day.
Really?
Yep. Yep. The kids today are so big. Not only big physically, but they got speed. They just play a great brand of football. I think the kids today are better, and they get bigger and better and better. This team right here, the size of these kids when I walked out there in the field, I mean, I'm looking up at the guy.
This is a fairly extraordinary team, even for us as far as size along that line. They are a very big team compared to our previous teams, but speed is what really I think sets them apart when you see the size of them and how fast they don't give up any speed to anybody.